Good. And we're back in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to number 93 of the Late Late Breakfast Show. And this is one of our very special Trello episodes. And with me, I have Brian. So, Brian, what are you known for? And what would you like to be known for?
Wow, it's a tough call. I am known for doing product marketing at Trello. I would love to also be known as a wonderful musician, songwriter.
I think you are known as that. I noticed you did a... didn't you do the sound to an English TV show?
Oh yeah, the show Skins.
Skins, that was it. Yes, that was.
Are you a fan?
No, I'm not a fan of. Sorry, I'm not a fan of TV. Full stop.
Oh, okay.
But I do keep up with popular culture via an app. So I was aware of the thing, but filming, the passion in that scene was just emulated through the quality of the music in the background.
Thank you. Glad we were able to bring the emotions to life for your ears.
But we're not here to talk about skin today. We're here to talk about...
That sounds like it's a porno podcast.
Just before we came on, I don't know why this popped in my head, but I've started, so I'll have to go with it. Just before I came on, I was searching jobs on Upwork, and one said we're an adult content site. We're looking for people to write, hot literature about us, and it's the way they called it, hot literature. That and I did notice there was 53 applicants for that job.
Wow.
So what does that tell you about the online market? But we're going to pivot from there to I want to talk about ask you, because I've got no qualifications to talk about it. I'd like to ask you about repeat cards today, because that's something that's been around 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
And just obviously I'm asking on behalf of someone else, but
Likely story.
Got no clue how to use them, and how do I get set up with them? How do I repeat them? And you can elaborate as much as you like, but I'm thinking more of like I produce a lot of content, so it's like weekly newsletters, weekly blogs, weekly podcast updates. So how can I go from there? So the floor is yours, sir.
All right. So first off, you could just go any team board, go into the menu. And click on power ups in the board's menu and just enable a card repeater. And what card repeater does is exactly what it says. It creates a copy of a card, either daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. So it just, as you mentioned, it just went out of beta 2 weeks ago, and it's something that we're still love getting some feedback on how people are using it and what they'd like to get out of it. But right now it's pretty, just like a bare bones power up that just automates, those repetitive tasks for you. So you're not stuck having to worry about it all the time. All you have to do is you just enable it on a card. So you just click the repeat button on the back of a Trello card, and you set up, if you wanted to repeat daily, weekly, what time, monthly, based on the day of the month, yearly, for those once a year kind of things. And then you can pick what list you want the card to be repeated on, where you'd want the copy to be made, and whether you want it to be at the top or bottom of the list. So it's super simple. And basically the things that get copied on a card are members, checklist items, descriptions, and attachments. And so they all get copied from that parent card.
So is it a reoccurring task card, or is it a repeating card?
So I'd say I think when we were actually developing this, I was a part of the design sprint on this. We were initially actually kind of calling it recurring cards, but we just thought recurring was kind of like a blah word. I don't know, just recurring just sounds kind of too high and mighty. So we're just repeater. That's what it is. It makes a repetition, repeated copies of cards at set intervals. And so, I guess I think it's most useful for repeat tasks you're doing on a regularly scheduled basis. Like you were mentioning with podcasts or, blog posts. If you're going to do maybe you're going to publish a blog post every Wednesday and you have a checklist set up on a card for, how you want to, maybe all the steps for getting a blog post ready and getting it ready for social media sharing. So, you can set up this card and have it on your board, and then it'll automatically just maybe get copied. A copy will appear, in your to-do list every Wednesday that reminds you that, you have to get your blog post out, and here's the steps to do it. And so, it's just a way that you can develop a process without having to really overthink things.
So I can have my, Bernie email card, and then I can make a checklist on it.
Yep.
And then tick those things off as I go. And then it will just magically appear the next time I need it with a clean board.
Or clean checklist?
A checklist of an unticked checklist.
Yep, totally.
So how do I just leave that card and it will reintroduce itself at the appropriate moment, or do I? Because I had this. This is one of my big questions. Is I wanted to tick done. But what do I do with the actual card? Because I've got it's not repeating like I thought it would.
Wait, one of your cards is not repeating like you thought it would?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well, doctor. I'm now going to... So
this is strictly confidential.
Yeah. No one's listening. So, so it was the 21st of September was my email card to send. And so I clicked repeat weekly on a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And it's in the list email, and it's a position top, and I click save. Mm-hmm. And when it got past last Tuesday, mm-hmm. nothing happened. Really? I completed the task, but nothing happened. I didn't get a... Didn't pop up where it's supposed to.
Did you archive the card or move it to a different board or anything?
I didn't archive it. I didn't move it to a different board.
That sounds... fishy. That sounds like to be honest, that sounds like a strange bug. That sounds like something that you should email us about so we can look into it.
I will. Okay.
Because I don't know what's up there.
I can try and set it up again and see how it goes. So my next after that live service service call, what are good things to use the repeat card with in terms? Are there any other apps that work really well?
What do you mean by apps? Like
use cases?
Oh, use cases. I was like apps, like integrations. Apps is just thrown around so much.
Yep.
Yeah. For our team, one thing we do is our marketing team now is we're about 12 people, and so we have a shared marketing board that kind of has an overview, and every week we have a card that's week of in parentheses date, and everyone just kind of creates a checklist every week of what they're working on that week. So anyone can just kind of open this one card and see what the entire team is up to, just to kind of, in case you want to reach out to someone about some specific thing or keep tabs or whatever you're doing. So I set up a card that has an empty checklist for everyone. And then all the board members are on, all the marketing people are on the card, and it just gets copied into our team or this week list on our marketing team board. And then that way, it's always made every Monday morning at 7 a.m. And all I do is I just go in and change the date in the parentheses. It'll say date, so I'll change it to week of September 26th or week of October 3rd or whatever. And then it's all set up. So, no one has to think about it. Everyone just hops right into the board when they get in the morning and they start planning out their week. So that's one way that we use it. It's actually one of the most useful ways for me to use it is just kind of, recurring tasks, like you said, with a blog post, newsletter stats, maybe just kind of, we want to we send a newsletter just at certain intervals, and we want to check those stats. So setting up the reminders for that kind of stuff. I'd say, one tip, actually, this is kind of a little bit, this is going away from use cases, but I think it's also really useful if you have, I like to have a list, a separate list for all my repeating cards to sit on a board. And I might just be off to the right, out of view. but I have a list of just of my repeating cards. So they're all like organized in one place, the parent cards. And then I just assign the list for them to repeat to on the board. Like, so I might have a list of like all the way on the right. That's just like, regular tasks. And all my parent repeater cards will be on there set up to go. And then they'll just automatically create cards on the list that they're designated on. But this way I find it's like visually less distracting for me.
So because that was in your blog post, wasn't it? About having a list.
Yeah.
To put them all about.
We also regularly set up like template, like we have like template cards a lot on our boards, even for not regularly repetitive tasks, but maybe like we publish like blog content maybe 3 to 4 times a week now. And, it's not always on the same day, so we don't have a repeated card for it, but we just like use the copy card feature a lot for like those tasks. So we have like a template list on boards that has every process, all checklist out, so we never miss anything. And I use that same list for my repeating cards as well. So
that, just to get really minute here on detail, how much time do you think you save by doing the template and the copy thing? Because one over the course of my Trello practice, and as I get more and more, particularly into making content, is I'm trying to iron out all those little kind of copy and pasty down, like things like downloading stuff and then from one website and then uploading it to another thing, being able to get in and out with Google Drive. I try to avoid putting anything on my computer, which actually saves me loads of time. Yeah. So how, in terms of the time it takes to get used to setting that up and working it out versus how much time you save doing all these repetitive things, where do you think you are with that?
I think it's like, it's not always a matter of like, it definitely like saves, easily like 5 to 15 minutes just not recreating a card, depending on how many checklists I'm creating and whatnot. But I think the most important things are like, by having an automated process, it like frees up me mentally so I can be more productive because I don't have this like minutia to think about. Like I can just open my marketing board every Monday and that card is already there. I never have to think about that anymore. So I think that's like a big time saver, but like a hard to measure time saver because it's like, it's really just making my brain more productive. And I also think that the other benefit of having copying cards and having a repeat is that if you're redoing a checklist all the time, you might forget a step. We like have a really, we refine our process a lot every time we publish a newsletter, or every time we have a very thought out step-by-step process so that we don't make mistakes. And if there's a worst case scenario that someone has to jump in and fill in for someone else and they've never done it before, like all the steps are laid out. So if you're creating a new card every time for every task, it's real easy to like leave out, I forgot to look in Litmus and see how the layout for this newsletter looks. Like you might just like mentally skip that and then not do that. And then next thing you know, like in Outlook 2014 or whatever, like your email looks like garbage. So it's just like, I think it's just copying, developing and refining a process and then copying that process. It saves a lot of time because you're less prone to make mistakes. And ultimately that's going to like save you time in the future.
That's lovely. I really agree about the mental space because it's, you, particularly if you need to be more creative, that's a lovely thing to free up there. The other thing I started to ask everybody is, how do you go about capturing things? Like if you're walking down if you need to remember the milk, or I must call my mum, or I've got to ask Danny about that when I get back, and you're on your mobile device, standing in the coffee queue. What do you do? Do you like add it to? Do you email yourself or email a board, or have one Trello board that you do all that on, or use another application?
No, I tend to I have a board that's, oops, that was a crazy Slack reminder sound. I don't know if that picked up on your end, but I have a board that I set up that's kind of a mix of work things I'm doing and freelance kind of like music stuff I'm doing and like just general to-dos. I have a board where I keep it all together, and then on my like iPhone, I just kind of I love the there's like 3D touch on iPhones.
Yes, I do.
Like there's like a way to like I use that board a lot. So with 3D Touch, I can, if you use 3D Touch and you press the Trello icon, you can like quickly access like your 3 most recently visited boards. So I just like can use that to quickly access board, or like I have the Trello widget, which also shows like recent boards. So I just use those a lot and just can hop right into the board.
I didn't know that it was on the 3D Touch thing.
It's pretty cool.
I've got to put my phone down now because I started playing. I was about to like start setting it up while I was talking to you. So that's a little note. Can you say a little bit about that? Because that's another, just like no one used to know about the calendar in Trello. The widget is, I'm amazed at how many people don't even know how to do that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not as versed anymore with Android. But if you're on like iOS 10, and you swipe right, there's a Trello widget that you can add, and it shows like your 3 most recent boards. But you can also like right from the widget, like create a card. You can take a picture and attach it to a card. You can attach something from a clipboard. Like just all right there without having to hop into the Trello app, and that saves a lot of time for me. And same thing with the 3D Touch. You can see recent boards. You can see notifications and stuff all like without having to go into the app.
Brilliant. Okay, so what's okay, I'm going to come clean here. I was looking at my 3D Touch while you were talking and going, "Oh yeah, he's right." So I forgot on my closing question. So what can people look out for? There we go. Just made that up on the spot. What's Brian's recommendation for Trello? What a crap way to end a podcast.
I think down the road coming up in Trello, I really we're working on making Trello faster. Just like all ways to make a Trello like just like faster in the web browser, load board and the mobile apps load boards faster. One big mobile project we're working on is offline sync, and so and actually like if anyone wants to ever beta test it, if you're in the app and you go to you open the Trello app and you go to your account, there's an option for sync. And you can actually start using boards offline, so you can add cards offline and stuff.
Oh my god!
This is very beta. I want to warn everyone that there is the risk of data loss. So,
it says warning: sync is experimental. When enabled, certain edits are possible without a network connection. These edits may be lost if you do not connect to a network for a long period of time. I've waited years for this. I have a tube journey, like here in sunny London. I have to go underground for 10 minutes. It's actually 12 minutes. That's how geeky I am. I've counted it. So underground for 12 minutes, and that's the only time I really need to use Trello offline.
Yeah, well, that's not too long. You should have no trouble syncing. So you can create cards, you can move cards, and then they'll sync when you get back online.
That is a huge job though, because I was listening to I think it was Joel or what's the CEO of Trello called? Michael Pryor. Michael Pryor talking in a podcast about the syncing thing, and everyone was like, we want it to offline access, but if you have, correct me if I'm wrong here because I probably am, if you have like 10 people using a Trello board and they all go offline and come back online, getting it to sync is a huge job, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've worked some ways out around that. I'm not sure if it's, and I might be getting this wrong, so don't quote me on this, but it might be something where, I think it's something where whoever kind of made the last action wins.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
But it's a hard problem to solve. It's how do you know how to do all that? And this is probably something that's going to be refined and improved upon. But other big things, we're just we're working with more developers to build more power-ups and add more power-ups so that, people can integrate the apps they love into their Trello workflow. And then we're also going to be making more stuff like card repeater and custom fields, more apps, more Trello-built power-ups so that you can really customize and add more little things to your Trello workflow that aren't really third-party integrations in the power-up field, in the power-up area.
Brilliant. Thank you for saving my bad last question there and popping in with the offline mobile sync to save the whole podcast. Where's the best place for people to find you online, and what do you like to hear about, and all this type of stuff?
Oh yeah, you can just reach out. It's on Twitter, Brian Servino at Brian Servino, BrianCervino, and yeah, and reach out about anything. I'd love to hear. I always love to hear about like how people are using Trello. How they're using power ups, how they're kind of like. I love hearing how people are using more and more like multiple power ups on a board. To this idea, like you can build like your custom app, like the ultimate editorial calendar by like integrating like the way you use like lists set up in a certain way, and the way you can use power ups in certain ways, and just like you can kind of almost like build your own, perfect customized app for you. I always love hearing those kind of stories. It's really cool because
that's a really, really good one. I've got a blog post that's been brewing for ages. I'm just too chicken to hit publish about using MailChimp and Publicate, because
you should do it.
MailChimp, Publicate, Google Drive is just a joy to use. I can't believe I'm getting a hot flush here talking about software.
You should reach out to us. Maybe we can sometimes we have guest posts and stuff, and you should email me about this.
I will. I'll get it. I'll come back to you in about 6 months when I plucked up the courage. But thank you very much for your time today. Always great to speak to you, and we'll have you around here soon.
Sounds great.
Have a great weekend. Thanks, Brian.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.